Hi, I'm Luke Mays, longtime product manager and lecturer for UCSD, that's the University of California, San Diego, in partnership with SimplyLearn, the product management professional program is in partnership with SimplyLearn and UCSD. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the AI Product Manager Roadmap. So let's get started. Before we begin, if you want to build strategic PM skills, the AI-powered Product Management Professional Program by SimplyLearn, in partnership with UC San Diego, is an ideal starting point. This program teaches product lifecycle management, stakeholder communication, market analysis, and more. Certified product managers can earn 110 to 160 annually, with leadership roles commanding quite a bit more. AI product management. Welcome to our session on AI product management. That's AI PM. This field specializes in building and improving products that learn from data and make predictions. This specialized knowledge is crucial for current product managers, tech leaders, and those aspiring to a product management role. AI capabilities have become central to nearly all modern products. So what's in it for you? Well, we're going to be going over just what AI product management is, how AI product management differs from traditional product management. Going to take a look at when a product is truly AI powered, the key skills for AI product managers, roles and responsibilities of an AI product manager. Take a look at the AI product lifecycle, as well as a little bit on cross-functional collaboration for an AI PM. Review some AI PM use cases, and then take a look at building an AI roadmap. Success metrics for AI products and understanding of the data pipeline. Very important for AI product management. Experimentation has always been important. Continuous experimentation is what we'll be talking about. Ethical and responsible product design and some challenges faced by an AI product manager. We'll dive into a specific case study and look at some tools and some platforms for AI product management. AI product management framework, we'll actually look at a few frameworks. And I'll give some final advice for the aspiring AI product manager. So, jumping into it, just what is AI product management? It's the management of AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning ML-powered products, from idea to launch and beyond, throughout the life cycle. AI products and AI product management uses data and learning models to develop smarter, personalized, and automated product experiences for the user. Remember, the purpose of a product is to make the user awesome at what they do. How does AI product management differ from traditional product management? Well, let's start out with just the overall system. Traditionally, software is solutions. Traditionally, solutions are deterministic. That is, you do something, you give some input, and you always get that same output. Traditionally, systems are Traditionally, systems are what's referred to as deterministic. That is, for some given input, you're always going to get the same output. Well, AI is a little bit different. AI is a probabilistic solution. That is, things can change. Given the data changes, given a time change, uh, location, many different factors can add up to a different result almost every time. The decision process of a traditional solution is predefined. There's an algorithm, and that algorithm is always followed to the same result given the same inputs. In AI product management, though, data and the machine learning on that data um, can alter things. The decisions are different given different data and different learnings. Experimentation is always important nowadays. We're agile, we are iterative, and we place bets. We're looking for what's going to be the best outcome. That experimentation is sort of limited in traditional product management, uh, but it turns to continuous experimentation when we're going when we're going the AI route. AI product management is continuous experimentation. So the life cycle, traditionally, you're focused as a product manager on building and launching static features, static products. Um, One release, work a little next release, work a little next release. Um, with artificial intelligence, though, there's a continuous life cycle. There's continuous learning. Um, there are changes that are going to happen. The model life cycle for a traditional product management solution is focused on launching static features, static solutions. Artificial intelligence, however, brings us to a place where there's a continuous life cycle. The system, the artificial intelligence brain, is continuously learning, continuously changing, and so product management product management has to adjust. So when is a product AI powered? When can you really say that? Well, it's AI powered when it makes decisions, makes predictions based on use machine learning models rather than fixed rules, rather than fixed algorithms. So, fixed rule solution, fixed rule product is something like the old static map data and fixed routing algorithms that would get you directions to go from here to there. So if you're going to 123 Sesame Street, system would always give you the same answer given your starting point. Just going to travel west on Central, take Central down to Sesame Street, and west on Sesame Street, you'll find number 123. In an AI-powered solution, however, when you say you want to go to 123 Sesame, well, it's going to think a little bit, and it's going to look at real-time traffic data, for instance. It's going to use what it's learned in its machine learning and dynamically predict and suggest the optimal route. In this case, there's an accident on Central Avenue. So we're not going to take Central Avenue. Instead, we're going to travel north up to Sesame Street, and then we're going to go south on Sesame Street down to 123. Different route entirely that a fixed rule system wouldn't have come up with because the rules are fixed. AI, however, is dynamically predicting because it's looking at things like traffic patterns and such, and it's going to give you an optimal route for right now. Tomorrow could be something different. Today, we're looking at the AI product manager roadmap. And going from start to finish, then, we're going to be looking at key skills, roles and responsibilities, the life cycle, building roadmaps, success metrics, and the data pipeline, experimentation, challenges in AI product management. You're going to look at a few frameworks and end up with some final advice from me. So, artificial intelligence. It's a word that you're hearing all the time and everywhere, and it may not be what you think it is, and it may not be what your boss thinks it is either. Artificial intelligence is well, it's an umbrella term. It's actually been around a long time, um, starting out with data science, and inside data science is data analytics. Data analytics grew immensely with big data, more and more data coming in, and machine learning started to be applied to that large data set represented by big data. Machine learning and deep learning um, focused in that analysis, and what you have today when you're looking at things like ChatGPT, you're looking at just one little piece of artificial intelligence. That's the large language model generally, although we're multimodal now, we're doing pictures as well as words. Um, but the point is, that's just one little piece of what overall artificial intelligence is. It's kind of mostly used as a marketing term right now, and that can get you into trouble. Uh, when you see a company that says their product is AI powered, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's a chatbot, that there's a conversation going on. It can mean many different things, and all of those things are wrapped up inside that one umbrella term, artificial intelligence or AI. Because of AI, there's been an expansion of just what product management is. Traditionally, product managers are focused on deploying static code, right? Operationally, we're pushing for DevOps to do that efficiently, to do that effectively. In AI PM, we're looking at managing that code, the deployment of that code, but also the development and deployment of data models, and the development and deployment of data, ever-changing data sometimes. Now, generative AI is a subset of AI. Generative AI product managers are a subset of artificial intelligence product managers, and they're mostly concerned, instead of DevOps, with LLM ops. That is, mostly they're concerned with the prompts and the outputs of the large language models. It's not exactly efficient, and not exactly time-wise, and not exactly efficient money-wise either, to retrain whenever there's new data coming in for a large language model to be prompted on. Some of the solutions that are in place that a Gen AI PM might use are retrieval augmented generation, or RAG. That way the model can stay the same, and extra data can be added in. Agentic AI is something that product managers are dealing with now, and really not so still focused on sometimes large language models, still focused on machine learning if there's new data that needs to be trained, still focused on DevOps, deploying the code that's surrounding, or that's encapsulating the artificial intelligence components. However, agentic AI product managers are also very, very concerned about the orchestration of many different autonomous agents. They're doing decision making. They're even integrating and interacting with external systems. And there's much, much more to be worried about with that. With the advent of artificial intelligence, product management has gone through an expansion. You see, traditionally, product managers are focused on static code deployment. We're looking at development and operations, DevOps, and making sure that all of the pieces are delivered when they're supposed to be delivered, and the user experience is exactly the same and exactly right every time. With the advent of artificial intelligence, though, version control for the code, yes, but also version control for the model and for the data that's being trained into that model. Got to monitor for model drift. Uh, when the real world data no longer matches the training data, well, then you can have some experiences that aren't as good as they should be. Uh, think about a spam filter, something that's from 2019, that spam filter. Well, it wouldn't work today because the spam tactics have moved on, and that's why you need to have a new filter. You need to have a new product sometime to catch the bad guys. Uh, Artificial intelligence, however, um, constantly pulling in the data about the bad guys and looking for patterns and hopefully catching the bad guys at the beginning instead of letting them get all the way through. Now, there's also generative AI, chatbots like ChatGPT uh, and the like. The acronym GPT stands for Generative Pre-Trained Transformer. So Gen AI PMs are less interested in training the model. That's a very expensive and very time-consuming thing to get it to the point where it can transform all of the trillions of points of data in that model and come out with human language. The user can prompt a large language model like ChatGPT and get back human language in response. Multimodals too, you can put in human language and you can get out pictures and videos and other such things. Uh, the model isn't really trained as much for or isn't trained specifically for a purpose for Gen AI PMs. Rather, they're concerned mostly with what are the prompts going into this large language model uh, and matching up the outputs that are coming out of those large language models. And expanding some more into a agentic AI. That's autonomous decision making. With the advent of artificial intelligence, product management has seen an expansion in responsibilities. You see, traditionally, a product manager was focused on the solution, uh, a static solution. That is, static code being deployed to production. There's a release, and there's your product. And then a little while later, there's another release, and there's your new product. With artificial intelligence, however, um, the AI product manager is focused on version control for that code, but also for the model itself, the machine learning that's been done, the training that's going on, as well as just the data itself. Uh, wasn't exactly an afterthought previously, but the data was definitely not as impactful as it is now. And so the AI product manager, uh, for instance, has to monitor for model drift. The real world data, if it's no longer matching what the training data was, well, then you're going to have some results that might not be optimal. If you think about a spam filter, used to be there were some patterns, and those patterns were loaded into the system, and it just looks for those patterns. Well, patterns from 2019 are definitely not going to be very useful today. The bad guys have changed the way that they're doing things. And so a new pattern had to be released, a new product had to be released with artificial intelligence, with machine learning. Um, Even though spam tactics, for instance, might evolve, so does the model. The model is hopefully constantly looking for new patterns and maybe identifying something before it rolls out to the masses, uh, catching those bad guys in catching them in the process of doing their bad stuff, catching them red-handed. Now, a generative AI product manager, slightly different. You see the large language models that are used to create ChatGPT, for instance. They're expensive and they take a long time to train. GPT, generative pre-trained transformers, are kind of on their own there. They've learned, they've done their things, and to retrain them not only would be expensive, but you might lose something inside that transformer. You might change the personality of what's going on, and that wouldn't be a very good user experience. So Gen AI product managers, they're focused more on what are the prompts that are being sent to the large language model. And even more importantly, what are the outputs that the large language model are sending back? That's a subtle change, but pretty profound to the job of the product manager. And additionally, we have agentic AI product managers. They're orchestrating what individual agents are doing. Each one of those agents is an autonomous decision maker. It might even have the authority to interact with an external system. It might be able to charge money on your credit card, for instance. So there's a lot more interest in making sure that the decision making, the autonomous decision making, is correct, and putting in gates to stop and make sure we don't need to pull a human into the mix. Um, Again, slightly different, but that slight difference can be pretty profound. So, an artificial intelligence product manager, which started out just as more of an AI ML product manager, has evolved, and there are some specific subject areas. There's some specific subject areas that call for specific types of AI product managers, specifically generative AI product managers and agentic AI product managers have slightly different, slightly enhanced and expanded responsibility sets. Today, we're focusing on the general case of AI product manager, but I do want you to take note. There are um, not just the expansion into AI, there is not just the expansion into AI. There's also expansions into generative AI and agentic AI as well. Today, though, we're going to focus on AI product management in general, those that are concerned with ML ops instead of DevOps, uh, code, models, data. So AI has impacted product management. That is the traditional PM who was a feature shipper, right? We have a release and then there's a product, and that product is static. It's the same until the next release. An AI product manager, on the other hand, well, they're working with these deterministic systems. Answers don't just change from release to release, but from input to input, from changes in the data, changes in the real world data, to changes in the model that might have to be made. The training data, if it doesn't match the real world data, well, then the results are not going to be adequate for solving the user's problems. The Gen AI PM, generative artificial intelligence, like ChatGPT, is different in that the model itself doesn't really get retrained by the product manager. Rather, the model stays the same for a while, and the product manager is interested in the context. How is it being used? Prompt engineering and context engineering are very important to making sure that the output from the large language model um, is is the right output. Hallucinations can happen, and that's when the large language model has an answer, but that answer is not exactly coming from a place that it's a good place. Product management's been impacted by artificial intelligence because artificial intelligence is probabilistic. It's not deterministic like most products used to be. You see, the traditional product manager, they're focused on shipping features, releases of products that have new features and enhanced features, but those features are static, uh, deterministic. If you put something in the system, you're going to get something out the system. You put that same thing in again, and you're going to get that same thing out again. Artificial intelligence, however, is probabilistic. That is, it's based on probabilities, based on statistics. So the PM really switches to a predictor, right? We want to manage the models, manage the data, the training data specifically, in order to get output that's correct for whatever the input is. But even if you do the same prompt twice, you might not get the same result twice, even with um, the exact same model. All right, let's try that one more time. Product management has been impacted pretty significantly with artificial intelligence. So let's be crystal clear about what's changed. In traditional product management, if you put in X, you get out Y, and you get it every single time the same way, like a calculator. 2 plus 2, it's always going to equal 4. However, with AI, 2 plus 2 can sometimes equal 5 for very large values of 2. Uh, 2.49 plus 2.49. The answer there, actually, that's going to round up to 5, right? Well, that's statistics, and that's what these models are all about. Statistics, probability. So managing those models is very, very important to the AI PM. You have to make sure that your training data It matches the real world data. Once the real world shifts a little bit, well, now your answers they need to be shifted too. Now, the generative AI product manager, they're focused on large language models. So those models don't really get retrained per se. It's very costly to train them up to get the large language model going, like ChatGPT. You see, the GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. So the training is done in order to make that LLM system like ChatGPT work the way it does. Uh, Going in and retraining, well, that's a very expensive thing to do, and also very risky. You can alter things like the personality that the large language model has, and that's proven to be pretty uh, dramatically bad for large language model providers. Uh, the users want consistent output. So if you are going to need to put in some data, some domain specific, company specific data, there's other techniques that a Gen AI product manager might use. Things like retrieval augmented generation, RAG. Uh, those systems will take your specific data, your company specific data, and actually put it into a vector database. And then that vector database is pushed in along with the prompting that might be done in order to come up with the answers, with the predictions, with the output um, that's generated. Novel output is generated by a generative system like ChatGPT. Finally, agentic AI is something been that's been coming, and agentic AI is something that has come onto the scene. Each agent is autonomous. It's doing its own thing. So instead of being a feature shipper or a predictor, content architect, now the product manager is really an orchestrator, right? The product manager is looking at each of these individual autonomous agents and making sure that that things are going in the right direction. There's a lot of risk with agentic AI. Uh, they are interacting with outside systems on behalf of the user, but not with the user right there. So there's many things, and we'll get into some of them. Um, but today we're focused on AI PM. That's the Artificial Intelligence Product Manager, in its purest sense of the predictor. The product roadmap that we're going to be looking at today is starts with the key skills. So let's start our journey down the product manager roadmap. First, key skills of an AI product manager. First thing is understanding how data flows through the model. That data is going to drive predictions, drive decisions, and therefore, data literacy is really foundational to what the AI product manager is going to do. Next, what is the machine learning lifecycle? You're going to have to manage the entire journey from development through deployment, continuous monitoring and retraining, continuous retraining of those models so that the real world and the training data are linked. If that's um, unsynchronized, you're going to get results that might not be correct. The models can what they call drift over time, and that's because real world data patterns change, and your models, your machine learning has to keep up with that. Ethical AI awareness is something pretty new. Ethics and doing the right thing were certainly something that a product manager always had in the back of their mind. But an AI product manager needs to be needs to govern. The AI product manager really is a governance architect as well. They have to define fairness checks and prevent bias and prevent the amplification of bias, especially. Um, Trust boundaries have to be put in place to ensure that these machine learning models are not unduly biased in a way that's especially unethical and illegal as well. Stakeholder alignment is always something that a product manager has to be focused on. Um, but this is amplified by artificial intelligence. You see, legal teams are going to be um, emphasizing compliance, and IT teams and engineers are going to be focused on scalability. Uh, Data scientists, they're going to be talking about F1 scores, that's precision and recall. All of them are speaking a different language. And so the AI product manager needs to focus on translating between all of those. Now we're going to look at the key skills of an AI product manager. We'll go over data literature. We'll go over data literacy. Also, the machine learning lifecycle. Something very important is keeping your models trained with data that's matching the real world. And the real world changes pretty often. Ethical AI awareness is something pretty new to product management. Uh, there was always doing the right thing for the user at the front of your mind, but a product manager now has more responsibilities because of the biases that can be amplified by machine learning. Stakeholders have always needed to be aligned, but now there's more stakeholders, and it's even more important to be the translator between all of the important parties. Product intuition is something that product managers have always been known for. That's kind of why you're in the job as a product manager. Uh, But now with AI and especially with autonomous AI, things can happen that weren't expected. Um, you need to you need to be able to. The product manager, the AI product manager, has to be um, intuitive as always. Um, but because AI is really only there to augment, it doesn't replace judgment. The AI product manager has quite a bit of work to do to make sure that meaningful product experiences are what's provided to the user. And we're also going to talk about tech fluency. Um, you need uh, you need conceptual understanding of AI and ML so that you can ask the right questions during tech reviews. Uh, you're not the one that's going to be training the models. You're not the one that's going to be writing the code, but you are the one that needs to pull that all together. Um, there's something called the AI iron triangle, and that's latency, accuracy, and cost. Those have to be optimized, sub-optimized in a way that comes out with a great experience for the user. All right, next on the AI product manager roadmap, we're going to jump into the roles and responsibilities of an AI product manager. First things first, problem framing. You define which user problem the AI should solve and translate ambiguous business goals into concrete, measurable objectives. Now, that doesn't sound any different than a traditional product manager. Where the new stuff comes in is identifying high impact problems where AI's probabilistic nature is going to provide a good user experience. Just because you have an AI hammer doesn't mean your problem is an AI nail. Sometimes it's the product manager's role to push back on AI when a traditional static solution might be a better bet. Next is the data strategy. You're going to be working with data teams to identify it, to collect it, to ensure access to the right data sources. Uh, that comes from sourcing and also cleaning to labeling, just ensuring the data sets are high quality. As the models are developed by your machine learning and deep learning engineers, um, the outcomes that are expected, that's that's you providing those inputs to that team, facilitating decisions about model architecture, defining success criteria, and managing the model backlog. You have a product backlog, but you also have a model backlog to consider. Deployment is coordinating with different teams, engineering, QA. You're moving the models from development to production, implementing A/B testing and the like, phased rollouts, validating performance before the broad release. There's ML ops, machine learning operations component to product management. And monitoring improvement. This has always been part of product management. We're going to iterate, we're going to find what's going on. Technical metrics like accuracy and error rates, uh, and alongside business outcomes, conversions and efficiency gains. Uh, but artificial intelligence is it's always learning. And so therefore, this is not just a point in time, check it off. Yep, we've monitored and we're improving. It turns into a much bigger thing now. So now we're going to look at a specific case. We're going to look at the AI product lifecycle for creating a voice assistant. AI product manager is going to push through the life cycle in order to create a product that is a voice assistant. In order to create a product, in order to create a product, in order to create a voice assistant product. So first we have the problem identification. An AI product manager is defining which products are the impactful products, which are the products that are really which are the solutions. So we start with product identification. That is defining which user problems the AI is going to solve. Um, in this case, for this example, the user wants faster responses to the follow-up. The answers are coming in good, but when there's a follow-up question, the system just doesn't seem to be doing what it needs to do fast enough for the users. So data collection, product manager works with the team the data team to collect the samples and involved in checking for accuracy and in the predictions that the system is making. Next is the model development. What's going on there as we're training? And the AI product manager is going to align the data scientists and the engineers, align them to the outcomes that are expected from this model. And then coordinate with engineers and IT, the QA team, do some A/B testing before rolling out improved models for the users. And then finally, monitoring and improvement. As I've said before, we've always been monitoring and PMs have always been improving. Um, but now with AI, because this artificial neural network is constantly learning and growing, um, it's um, a little more ongoing. It's not a point in time thing. Check the box and move on to your next thing. It's continuous. Um, they're also gathering user feedback and um, making sure that what was intended, the solution that was intended, is the solution that's presented to the users. All right. Now that we've gone through roles and responsibilities, let's take a peek. Now that we've gone through, let's take a peek at the AI product lifecycle as a whole. Problem definition, that's what you're doing. And data collection, you need to make sure that you've captured real world data, and that data is used in model development, used in training in order to come out with the right answers. You're going to evaluate what's going on so that you can deploy. When you deploy, there's going to be a need for A/B testing to see what kind of impact and what has the best impact. And monitoring and improving is always the goal. Monitoring, improving. Monitoring and improving what's going on is not just a point in time thing anymore. With AI constantly changing and constantly learning, um, that monitoring and those opportunities for improvement are going to be continuous. This is something you're going to be doing all the time. AI product managers work closely with multiple teams to bring ideas to life. The AI product manager has to work with the data scientists on the models and on the data that's coming through. The machine learning engineers who are training the data, um, they need to be worked with and understood. They're speaking a different language than, say, the software engineers who are focused on making sure that the systems have the right uptime and making sure that we're scalable and reliable. The user experience designers, they're all about what the user is going to touch, what the user is going to do. Right now, many AI solutions are prompting solutions because it makes sense that people speak. Natural language is where we should go, but that's not always the best solution. For many systems, a web-based form where you enter stuff and hit go, that can actually be a little bit better. I obviously, with a job like this, like to talk. Uh, Many people are not like that, and so don't get caught in that trap of well, we'll just give them a place to write a prompt and they'll figure out what they want by talking to the system. That's not necessarily the solution every time. Finally, legal. Concerned about compliance, concerned about laws and federal and state and local action, they're also speaking just a completely different language than everyone else. The AI product manager has to be the translator between all of those. Uh, Polyglot of sorts. A polyglot is somebody that knows multiple languages, and that's definitely what an AI product manager needs to do. So, what are some common use cases for AI and for AI product management? Well, recommendation systems are a good start. If you think about Spotify or YouTube, the TikTok algorithm that is deciding from the data that comes in about what the user just looked at and how they looked at it and how long they looked at it. Um, those systems are AI systems. Fraud detection, financial services, for instance, something I actually worked on uh, at a large financial institution was just what are the patterns that are out there. It used to be you find out about some fraud. Now we know how they're doing it, and now we'll look for it. But these fraud detection systems, using real-time data and continuous training, are looking for new patterns that might not have been seen before. If there's a charge on a card in Paris, France, and that afternoon there's another charge on the card, but it's in Los Angeles, uh, that pattern is something that hasn't been seen before. It's pretty hard to fly from Paris, get there in the afternoon, after just an afternoon flight, and jump in a car and race to the store. So that's something that these fraud detection systems catch or have caught, uh, something that might not have been seen before. Chatbots are something that everyone is used to now. They used to be static. It used to just be that you heard or you said something and it said something back. If you said that same thing, it said the same thing back. But now, with the advent of AI, large language models, and generative pre-trained transformers especially, the conversation can go off in quite a few directions. Personalization engines are similar to recommendation systems, but the recommendation system is inside a static user experience. Now it's possible to change the whole experience in the same way that just the recommendation was changed before. And finally, computer vision systems. These artificial intelligence computer vision systems and multimodal generative AI um, allows allows not just words, but actually pictures and videos to be implemented through artificial intelligence. Uh, Picking out one face among 1,000 faces is another use for computer vision systems and another use case for artificial intelligence. So on the product manager roadmap, we've gone through skills, roles and responsibilities. We've looked at the life cycle. So now let's talk a little bit about building AI product roadmaps. So first, there's the feasibility. What is possible for these AI systems to do? And what is technically possible? And also, what is it that we can get accomplished? What are our resource constraints? And how long is that going to take? What's the complexity? The risks around complexity come into play here. How about the data? What's the availability of data? If you are a AI mapping system calculating routes for people, um, how much data do you need? Will yesterday's data be good enough, or do we need some fresh data so we can catch road hazards and um, slowdowns that weren't there yesterday? What's the kind of volume of that data that we have coming in? And finally, how accessible is that data? Um, the product manager is focused on the user experience, but also focused on the company's experience as well. Just how accessible and how expensive is that accessibility going to be? Also going to need to measure the impact. What do I mean business value? What is the company getting? What is the revenue? What is the profit for a given amount of user benefit? You as the product manager, you are the voice of the customer. Um, and you're the one who's going to make sure that what it is that is causing the pain is a big enough benefit that the customer is willing to give over their hard-earned cash. Finally, what's the growth potential? We've got this system. Now, as the product manager, thinking forward, what is it that we should do next? How can we not just obtain these customers, but how can we keep them and how can we make them fans and get them to bring their friends along? We're on our AI product manager roadmap journey, and we've just finished looking at AI product roadmaps. Now let's look at some of the success metrics to judge what we're doing and where we're going. Something new, not new, but definitely more impactful before is the accuracy of our predictions, the accuracy of the output, the accuracy of the data. You see, things like false positives, sometimes called hallucinations, can really make you believe that your system is doing well. But if your user base is getting slop, well, they're probably less likely to come back a second time. Latency is a big concern. The more that the system is thinking, well, the more opportunity there is for the system to take a long time. Latency is a big problem right now with artificial intelligence. Thinking harder, thinking wiser, well, that takes time. And the user base has an expectation that's going to need to be hit. And so it's the product manager's job to focus in on just what is acceptable, what is the amount of time that the user base is willing to wait to get a prediction, to get a product, to get an answer. User engagement is very user engagement. The users are very fickle, especially given the first three. User engagement is crucial to product success and product manager success alongside that. If a user is happy with the results, and the results are coming in as expected, if the experience is one that the user can trust, then you've got good user engagement, and you've got users that are on their way to becoming fans and promoting your product for you. Don't forget about business outcomes. You are creating these products to solve a problem, and solving problems has value. What is the business outcome of this product, of this artificial intelligence product? Is this something that customers view as valuable enough to pay for, or are they just trying it out and they're not going to come back for the next time? So let's dive a little deeper into each one of these. Accuracy measures how often the model makes accurate predictions. The false positive rate is how often the model makes incorrect predictions, sometimes called hallucinations. These can really derail your product. Latency, how quickly the model is delivering the results is going to impact the user experience greatly. If a user just decides to leave, I'm not getting this answer fast enough, well, that can be a problem. Now, if they get a quick answer, but that answer wasn't the best answer, that can also be a problem. So this is one that has to be watched. There's guardrails on both sides. User engagement, that is, how uh, how trustworthy was that answer and was that experience? Did the user like what they saw? And that's going to lead to whether or not they come back for more. And finally, the business outcomes. I cannot stress this enough. AI has come out and people are so excited that they're throwing it everywhere. Well, that's great. But we need to provide business value because business value is what customers ultimately pay for. Um, Sometimes, and in certain industries, maybe a fun time is also cool. Um, but either way, a fun time that people don't really want to pay for, well, that might not be a good product decision. So today we're going to look at the AI Product Manager Roadmap. Today we're looking at the AI Product Manager Roadmap. Today we've looked at the AI Product Manager Roadmap, starting with key skills of an AI product manager and move on to the roles and responsibilities. The AI product lifestyle, followed by building an AI product roadmap. Success metrics of an AI product, and understanding the AI data pipeline. The role of experimentation in product management, AI product management, as well as challenges in AI product management. Frameworks, and finally, some final advice. The AI data pipeline. You're responsible for ensuring access to the right data sources. That's the right data sources and the right data sources at the right time. Data cleaning is something you're doing. You're collaborating with the data engineers to make sure that the data is accurate. Make sure that the data is unbiased, and that's going to improve the model reliability. Data labeling is data labeling. Sometimes the data is going to come in unstructured, and that means not labeled. You have a lot of data, and the systems, in order to train, sometimes we need to tell the system what this data is. So that's called data labeling, and the accuracy there is crucial for effective and timely training of that data. Ongoing monitoring and ongoing improvements as well. Uh, AI product manager is going to oversee the performance after deployment. That's a continuous thing. It used to be you kind of checked off, yep, it works, and you moved on to your next thing. Now that's not the case. With artificial intelligence, with machine learning, uh, the AI PM has a ongoing, continuous monitoring and continuous improvement, of course, of the product. Next, we're going to take a look at experimentation, the role of experimentation in AI product management. From the experiments, you're going to measure and you're going to learn. From learning, you're going to make improvements, and that's going to lead to some more experimentation. We're getting continuous feedback, and that's what's going to make a smart model. Ethics and morality are things that were always a part of product management, but maybe in the back of your mind, you knew that you needed to do the right thing. Well, with artificial intelligence and the impact of artificial intelligence, this now comes to the forefront. AI systems, they need to treat individuals equally, um, up to and beyond what the law says should be there for fairness. There's always bias. And in traditional static systems, that bias could be altered or tweaked. Uh, Continuously learning, continuously training systems have to be watched. There has to be a human in the loop making sure that biases are identified so that they can be corrected. AI explainability is getting away from the concept of the black box. When AI was first thrust onto the scene, uh, wow, this is great. I give it something, it gives me something back. Awesome. Well, there's an impact to what it gave back, especially along the lines of what kind of biases are in what was given. What Was it fair what was given? Uh, a black box is not legally defendable. So, product managers, AI product managers' responsibilities have expanded into explainability. Can we show just why and how this decision was made? And can we validate that that decision was a fairer decision? It wasn't biased, um, and it was ethically the right thing to do. Because there's regulatory concerns, especially. The laws, for instance, the GDPR, which comes out of the European Union and focuses on data privacy. Are we hitting these laws? Are we able to do what we need to do and still stay on the legal side of the law? All right. As we've gone down the roadmap and looked at everything from skills to the life cycle and success metrics, we finished off the role of experimentation. And now we're going to look at challenges in AI product management. First of all, unpredictable model performance. This is a probabilistic model. So we can't say it's going to do this when we do that. It's inconsistent. There are changing scenarios, and therefore constant monitoring is something that the product manager needs to provide, both personally and within the product. Um, Distribution changes in the data are going to reduce the model accuracy. If the training data is not what the real world data is, well, then the results that we're going to get are not going to be results that are useful in the real world, which is where these things are run. In a lab where it's pristine, you might be able to um, predict with pretty high accuracy. However, in the real world, with real world data, that's not necessarily the case. Scaling is something that has always been a concern, especially on the cloud, but AI adoption has just gone through the roof. Some of the rules of thumb, we're going to double in this amount of time, just might not be hit. So the AI product manager has to be extra concerned. And as those things scale, as um, users come on, well, the cost of actually satisfying those users, that's going to increase too. Product manager is there to manage the entire product. The product manager is the CEO of the product. You're the voice of the customer, sure, but you're also the voice of the company, and you're the one who's in charge of making sure that this is a profitable undertaking to do. Profitable, profitable path to take down the AI roadmap. And stakeholder management. Stakeholders have always expected instant and error-free products, uh, and you're the one that needs to deliver that. It's essential for the product manager to communicate early and often just what the limitations are, and make sure that your stakeholders have understanding of that. So let's take a little deeper dive into a specific case study. This is going to be a food delivery app. Uh, First step to define the problem. And the problem is frustrated users. The delivery time that the system's been giving them is not accurate. They're not getting their pizza in 20 minutes like the system said. So your goal as the product manager is to make that better. How to predict accurate times, and how to improve that experience, which right now seems to be a little frustrating. So first things first, collect some data. So an AI solution is going to start out with gathering data. What kind of data is out there? There's timestamps, there's prep time, there's data about your drivers, what's the speed they're driving, how far is the delivery that they need to make, inclement weather, uh, unfriendly traffic. There's lots of things that are out there to figure out, to help you and to help AI figure out what an accurate estimate is going to be. And then we get into the model and training that model. This is where you're working with the data scientists, where you're working with the ML engineers, the machine learning engineers, to look at that data and to train the model to give better forecasts the next time. And as I've said throughout, and as I'll keep on saying, uh, continuously monitoring and continuously improving are things that the AI product manager now has on their plate all the time. So predicting, making predictions, comparing to the actuals, going back and retraining to get better and better results, and also making sure that something hasn't changed. If there's a new expressway that is built, if there's a new expressway that has been started to be built, those are going to impact everything, and you need to catch that immediately so that you can maintain the accuracy of your model. Depending on the size and the maturity of your organization, the product manager may or may not get involved in the weeds, so to speak, to the to the training, to the model development. Uh, if that is the case in your organization, here are some tools that product managers are likely to use. To start out with, we have Jupyter. Jupyter is um, well, first of all, you see the funky spelling. The PY in the middle, that's a call out to Python. Um, anyway, this is widely used for data analysis, prototyping models. It's a IDE, an interactive development environment for creating and sharing and uh, uh, managing the code and stuff like that. Next, ML Flow. These first two are open source, by the way. One of the reasons they're so widely used, and it's a management tool, a project management tool, data science project management tool. Your development teams might use something like Jira to manage what's going on in the development of software. In the machine learning world, this is kind of the de facto standard there. A few competitors. Neptune AI is one. Weights and biases is another one. Next, we'll look at if you're on the cloud and on the Amazon cloud specifically, SageMaker is your tool. If you're on GCP, the Google Cloud, that's Vertex AI, and in Azure, Microsoft Azure, it's uh, Azure ML. It's is the tool for you. Next is another one. It's not open source, but it's kind of the standard out there for Auto ML. It's an automated machine learning platform and kind of a minimal coding thing to get you going there. And then finally, Kubeflow, you see the blue KUBE, and that's a call out to Kubernetes, one of the frameworks that's used pretty much practically everywhere by everyone. And it's part of the how you connect everything together. So deployment of machine learning workflows within Kubernetes. This is the tool for you. Uh, Competitors to this, H2O.ai, and one I'm having a hard time pronouncing, Dataiku, kind of like haiku, but with data at the front. All right. We have gone through the product manager roadmap, quite a few steps so far. Challenges, role of experimentation, understanding the data pipeline, all the way back to the key skills of an AI product manager. And now we're going to look at some product management frameworks that a product manager might follow. First one, Drive, is what you're doing. You're driving that machine learning, driving that training of the model. So this acronym, the first letter D, is for the data. You need to capture the data, clean the data, make sure you have the right stuff to solve the problem. Next is research, and that's exploring the models and the tools, making sure that you're going to be able to solve your problem or research that out. Next is to iterate. We're always iterating, building prototypes, experimenting. One of the next frameworks is all about that experimentation. DRIV for validate. And that's making sure that you have the proper metrics, that you're making sure you've got user accuracy. One of the most important metrics is that user satisfaction. Specifically, do they trust the AI? Is this a trusted partner, or is this something to be wary of because we never get the right answers? And then finally, the last letter in the word drive is execute, deploying the model, monitoring the performance. And remember, that's an ongoing thing. It's no longer a check the box, we're good, let's go work on something else. Uh, Continuous learning in these autonomous uh, artificial brains, that means continuous validation. Make sure they're still doing what they're supposed to do. Next framework we'll take a look at is called hypothesis-driven development. Now, this is not just for machine learning. This is a great idea all the time, and in many agile agile implementations, this is something that's done, HDD, hypothesis-driven development, because what we're doing is defining a problem and then uh, validating that it indeed is a problem. We're making a hypothesis. And there's a kind of two major loops in this. These are iterative loops, so we're continuing to do things. But on the inside, these are things that you're doing locally. You're experimenting with your training. You've got your baseline. You think it's going to work. Uh, that's inside a lab, though. So that's not the real world, which is messy and dirty. So you also have an outer loop, and that's deploying, doing things like A/B testing, looking for model drift out in the real world where that kind of stuff happens, and making that decision. Is this really going to do what we want to do? And if it is, we're going to scale it, we're going to pivot. So you've got a hypothesis, you do an experiment, and you make a conclusion out of that experiment. The important part here is every time you do something, you're gaining some knowledge. So there's an old saying that you never really lose as long as you learned something. Well, in experimentation, that is always true. You just found 10,000 ways that didn't work. Next, we're going to look at the AI canvas. Perhaps some of you have used different canvases before. I am a big fan. It is amazing how much work goes into these long um, processes, and everyone isn't following along. Your boss really doesn't know what's going on. The team is just waiting for the next step. By doing something, and these are intentionally uh, sized for a piece of paper. Sometimes it's a big piece of paper, but the point is everything should be um, explainable on one sheet of paper. And in this case, um, it's tailored for AI ML. It looks very similar to the business model canvas, and um, that's a very useful thing. Also, if you're in a smaller organization, a startup, you definitely should be looking at what can be done there. The important part is we're breaking it up into these little chunks. You should be able to answer each of these. Might be a sentence, might be a whole bunch of stuff squished into that box. But the point is, what is the status flow? That's on the left side. What is the solution that you're describing? And then the right side, the dark purple, describing the future. What is the outcome of this supposed to be? Each one of those squares, and we're not going to go into them in detail here, but when you do your Google search or your AI search for an AI product management framework, you'll see the questions there. Things like who are your customers, who are your users? Obvious. I don't need to do this. That's not the case. There's always one piece. Your mind is going and you're looking at that, and there's just something that you're gonna forget or you're gonna overlook or maybe not give as much attention as it should be. These canvases really, really change the game, so to speak. Kind of like that checklist that the pilot uses before taking off. He knows the gas tank is full, but just making sure and checking off there just might pop something in his head. Oh, I just remembered that the guy that usually fills it, he's sick today and there's someone else working. Maybe I can't just assume it's there. I ought to check the gauge and make sure. So this is the AI product management framework or this has been the set of them that each and every one is going to be very useful for you in being a successful AI product manager. Here's a expanded view of that, just in case you were interested in any one of the specific boxes. You probably are able to read that size. All right. Well, the product management roadmap. We have started out with key skills. We've gone through roles and responsibilities, life cycle, roadmaps and data pipelines, success metrics, experimentation, challenges, just finished up AI product management frameworks, and now a little bit of final advice. So, learning the basics of machine learning. You're not going to be the one training the model or designing the model, but you need to have that knowledge of what's going on. You are the voice of the customer. You are the CEO of the product, and decisions are made. And you need to be there to make sure those really were the right decisions. Sometimes people, well, we have to trust our partners. Uh, Trust but verify. You do need to make sure that they're not making that decision for some other reason than whatever is the best reason for your product. Focus on problem solving, experimentation to get to that problem solving. Um, you are your product is there to create business value. Your product is there to solve some problems, get rid of some pain, and keeping that in mind is going to keep you closer to a successful product. Now, simple, iterative, want to shoot for that minimum viable product first and then expand from there. When you just roll out everything at once, a big bang, I'm going to have lots of stuff. It feels really good, but oftentimes the assumptions that you made in the middle are just not right. This really isn't the problem that needs to be solved. It's a good idea to start simple and iterate up. Collaboration is always key for a product manager. And in the case of artificial intelligence, it becomes crucial. There are just so many moving parts, so many people with their fingers in the pie uh, that you need to have interaction with every group, no matter how small, no matter how high up in the food chain they are. Everyone has what's in it for me with them, and you need to make sure and hit that. So everyone is a fan, everyone is a supporter, and everyone wants to succeed. And then finally, stay curious. There are so many things that are uh, just popping up in the industry, very far from mature industry. Right now, today, large language models are what everyone is thinking is going to be the future of things. However, there are other models out there that are popping up every time that just might be the one that you need. So stay stay curious. If you're focused on any one of these, and you should be focused on all of them, there are a few courses that you might want to consider from SimplyLearn. There's a machine learning using Python, and that is the language which is the one uh, that is in the industry and being used by the majority of people. So taking a course like that, kind of a technical one, is really going to help you to succeed. There's a Purdue AI and Machine Learning, a partnership with Purdue University and SimplyLearn, that's going to give you the uh, overview of um, what's this all about in much more detail than I went through today. You'll learn a lot and you'll have a firm grounding on this wave of the future. AI powered product management. We've been talking about an AI product manager, and that is basically your product is AI powered. Well, the tasks that you need to accomplish as a product manager, the direction that you need to give, you can power that using AI tools. And the AI-powered product management course is going to help you along the way. There's many things that AI is disrupting in many different industries, and product management is one of those places where some of the mundane things that used to take you a day or a few days or a week, you can use AI, you can partner with AI to get the best result and to get that best result a lot faster. You need to know what you're doing, though. AI is prone to lots of problems, and you don't want to be the one to run your project and drive your product with those problems. There's a product development and innovation class, PCP, and this is a class that all product managers should be taking. It's about some of the things like staying curious and collaborating. It is about coming up with an elegant solution. Many times you just kind of pound your way through. Uh, you can get it done and you can solve the problem. But an elegant solution is always going to be better, faster, cheaper than something that was just rammed down the throats of everyone. So product development and innovation is definitely something you should consider. So today, key skills of the product manager, roles and responsibilities of the product manager, product lifecycle, AI product lifecycle, building AI product roadmaps, AI product management success and metrics, understanding the AI data pipeline, experimentation in product management, challenges in AI product management frameworks, AI specifically, product management frameworks, and then finally, some final advice. Thanks for joining, and make sure you stay curious and make sure you are a continuous learner. Bye for now.